time for that. Not ready for that. Need time for that. Need time for that. Need more time. Need more time.
You the Wanderer? It's my mentor, Curator Ludea. She is not herself. Please, she's in the Infernal Wing.
What is this place?
A house for our most ancient treasures, those of the angels and the demons. We balance their energies with two powerful relics. We call them the anchors, but one of them has become unstable of late. Curator Ludea has refused to leave its side. She won't eat, won't sleep. She just stares at it, crying.
The balance is a lie. Hell is coming!
The balance is lost. This way.
Ken, I beg you!
Flash for the fathomless. Flash for coin.
Give thanks to the fatherless.
If you won't offer thanks, you will offer blame.
I need to find a way to take down these idols. Oh, what's this? Needs more time.
In the name of
For the fatherless.
the fatherless. Flesh for the deed.
For the fatherless.
Flesh for the deepless.
In the name of the fatherless.
For the fatherless. Flesh for the
In the name of the fatherless. For the fatherless.
of the fatherless.
Where did it go? Corpses block the corridors. Clearing this should help open the way. won't fit in a pack.
Seriously covering the repeat orb. Hello everyone, I'm Liuli. In this video, I will bring you an introduction to the Diablo 2 Resurrected 3.2 PTR. To sum up the changes in this PTR in one word: nerfs, especially to the Sorceress. Let's generally discuss the changes to the Sorceress in this version. First, the currently most powerful Frozen Orb build has received a very significant nerf, potentially leaving it with only 15% to 20% of its previous damage. This is just a theoretical figure, as the skill now also factors in our attack rating, meaning in high difficulty environments, especially against the 6 bosses, its performance might only be 1/10 of what it was. Building on that, some skills that were very useful for speedrunning or leveling have also received significant nerfs. Furthermore, our Pokemon catching playstyle has been weakened as well, by making it function like the other classes. In the previous version, the Sorceress could gain most of the benefits from that tree with a relatively small investment of skill points, but now, you might need to invest at least 20 to 40 points to get decent returns from it. It effectively turns it into the same system as other classes, where dual-spec builds come with a cost, rather than being able to dual-spec without any downsides. For example, if you are playing a Sorceress and want to play a hybrid Ice-Fire build, your Ice and Fire trees definitely won't be as strong as single-element builds. Next, let's look at the specific direction of the changes. Firstly, the Sorceress class has had its base stats improved, but now you can only equip two-handed weapons in one hand when equipped with a class-specific offhand book. Currently, we can equip a two-handed weapon in the main hand and a shield in the offhand. There are many high-quality runeward or unique shields, such as the unique Storm Shield or Jerk's Sanctuary, which are excellent. And for runewords, there's no need to mention the overpowered Spirit, Shield or Phoenix for caster builds. These were all usable by the Sorceress before, but now they can no longer be used. You can only carry one. If you still want to carry a two-handed weapon in your main hand, you must carry your own class-exclusive offhand item in your offhand. But the good news is that this base is a shield type, so you can still use it to make some simpler runewords, like Radiance for example. That's still doable, but it certainly won't be as powerful as using a Spirit Shield was before. Next is the Demon Tree. The nerfs here are quite severe. First off is the Demon Mastery skill. Now, if you want to reach the maximum of 3 demons, you must invest 20 hard points into it. What does that mean? Let's open the simulator and take a look. Previously, this skill granted the maximum of 3 demons once it reached level 20. If it was below level 20, you might only have 2, right? That's a change to the skill, but before, we could boost the level through gear. Even in extreme cases, we could use demon skill charms to force it to level 20 and still have 3 demons, but that doesn't work now. You have to manually put points into it until it hits 20. This is regarding the Demon Mastery nerf. If you still want to get the same full benefits as before, for example, while playing Echo, where you bring 1 binding demon and 2 maimers to crowd control the monsters, right? Well, now you absolutely have to put 20 hard points into Demon Mastery. It has to be manual points, which means you'll be spending significantly more skill points, maybe a dozen more. That's one thing, and other skills like Summon Goatman and Blood Knight have also had a cap added to their buffs. Then there's another major nerf, Blood Offering. Let's look at the skill description. It currently states that at level 20, it has a 10.3 explosion radius. However, that doesn't seem to be the case in-game, where the radius is smaller than described, leading to a specific issue. We originally thought Blizzard had failed to scale the Blood Offering radius correctly and assumed it was a bug, but now they've updated the skill description to reflect that the actual explosion radius is only 4 yards. This severely impacts the strength of Blood Offering because an AoE skill with only a 4-yard range is extremely small. Unlike the Necromancer's Corpse Explosion, which can clear the whole screen, you might only hit a small fraction of it, making it much less effective for speed farming. These are the changes related to blood cost, followed by Devour, which has added a Devoured Demon. It provides stat bonuses based on the difficulty of binding. Now let's look at the most heavily nerfed skill, Bind Demon, which received the most significant nerfs in the Demon skill tree. First, just like Demon Mastery mentioned earlier, you must now invest base points to bind different demons. When below 10 points, and by 10 points I mean manually invested, not boosted by gear, you must manually allocate 10 skill points to it. Before manually adding 10 skill points, we can only capture normal demons. After 10 points, we can capture blue monsters, after 15 points, gold monsters, and after 20 points, super unique monsters. These super unique monsters are the named creatures we captured before, like the blacksmith or the, making this a Shongdang significant nerf. In the current version, you can capture a blacksmith to play with as soon as you reach level 30, but in the next version, you'll need at least level 50 to capture these high-quality super unique monsters. This is a nerf to Bind Demon, meaning if you aren't playing a pure summoning build during the early progression stage, you won't get much out of this skill. It's controversial. This is all related to Bind Demon. Next, they cut the synergy rate for Bind Deathmark and reduced the bonus probability based on the missing health of the injured demon. The previous version actually had a bug with this probability where you could just graze the demon, and if it took even a little damage, you could capture it. Sometimes you could even capture them at full health, but now, you'll likely need to, the demon and keep attempting to capture it multiple times before you succeed. Then there is a very major nerf. The introduction of a maximum health cap, which varies for each demon. In the previous version, when we captured demons like the blacksmith, their health was based on their base values. On Hell difficulty, these demons had base health near 100,000, but in the next version, they might have a maximum health cap, perhaps limited to 20,000 or 30,000. Their ability to tank will no longer be as strong as before, meaning you'll have to invest in the demon's support skills to increase their health, right? Next is the aura pool. Let's talk about the auras. Once you get the Banish Demon skill to level 20, the demon you capture will gain a random aura. Previously, this random aura could be pulled from a large pool, but now, Conviction, Fanaticism, Holy Freeze, Blessed Aim, and Might auras have been removed from that pool. However, there was an existing setting where if a demon already had an aura, our aura enhancement wouldn't replace their original one. This means in the next version, we might still be able to capture demons with Conviction, but we'll need to farm them ourselves rather than just capturing any demon and forcing a Conviction aura onto it. This seems to be Blizzard's way of nerfing things. For capturing blacksmiths or specific unique tier mobs, the impact might not be huge, but for capturing spear throwers or other powerful elite monsters, it could be a bit troublesome. Because right now, if I want to capture a spear thrower, I might farm a cursed one, capture it, and then hope for a useful aura. In the next version, that might change. It won't be like that anymore. That covers the changes to Banish Demon. So, what is the ultimate goal behind these changes to the Banish Demon and demon-related skills? It's to make dual specialization less effortless. In this version, you can invest just over a dozen points to get your demon minions performing well, right? In the next version, you might need to invest 30 to 40 points just to get your Banish Demon to provide that same level of performance. This means you'll need to consider whether it's actually worth investing that many skill points there, instead of just mindlessly dumping points like you can now, effectively making dual spec much harder. But for those of you playing a pure summoner build, the impact might not be that significant. For pure summon builds, you'll have to see if the change to the maximum health cap has a significant impact. If your demons only have 10,000 or 20,000 health, you might find that your minions die very easily, which is something to consider. Then, for pure summon and physical builds, there's another serious nerf. The chance for demons to cast the Amplify Damage curse has been reduced, dropping from 75% down to 5%. Previously, if our demon had a curse skill, it would cast Amplify Damage very frequently, but in the next patch, according to Blizzard, that frequency will drop by maybe over 10 times, about 15 times less. There's also another situation. When we used to recruit demons, they might have come with certain auras. If a cursed demon had, say, Holy Fire, Holy Freeze, or Holy Shock, it would cast curses more frequently. I'm not sure if this mechanic will still be in the next patch. If it is, we might not be able to conveniently grab Fanaticism auras. We'd have to stick to Holy Fire, Holy Shock, or Holy Freeze, right? We'd have to recruit demons with those auras to ensure they cast their main skills more often, making gameplay smoother. That covers the nerfs to the demon archetype. Next up is the Chaos archetype, which also received mostly nerfs. First, for Miasma, there's a mechanical change to the cloud damage and cloud projectile generation. Then, there's Decrepify, the skill we used to break immunities because it increased the damage monsters take, but that's gone now. We should point out that the original effect of Decrepify was like the Necromancer's Amplify Damage. It acted as a debuff that allowed you to break monster immunities, but now that it's been removed, you can no longer use it to break immunities. The impact of this is significant, especially for the pure summon or physical-based builds we mentioned earlier, because you could originally use Decrepify to break immunities in the early game, but now, you can't break immunities that way, and on top of that, the frequency of monsters casting Amplify Damage has also been reduced, right? Moving on to Ring of Fire. the damage has been reduced to be closer to that of Frost Nova, meaning the actual damage is likely only half of what it was before. For Corpse Explosion Chain, the cloud damage has been reduced and a cap for effective chains has been added, but the casting delay was removed, which is a minor buff. Flame Wave received a minor nerf, with damage reduced by 15%. However, the two main skills for Fire and Abyss and Doomsday, were not nerfed. This means if you want to play a magic build, these two skills are still viable. Abyss might be slightly more affected because the chain nerf is significant, but if you play Fire Sorcery, you basically cycle between Doomsday and Flame Wave, and only Flame Wave was slightly nerfed, right? As for the Necromancy tree, the nerfs only seem to affect Echoing Strike and Assist Strike, but the bug fixes actually deal a devastating nerf to Echoing Strike. First, they changed its damage bonus from a multiplicative modifier to a fixed one. The multiplicative bonus in our current version is very high, but it will be fixed in the next patch. Secondly, they removed the always hits property. Right now, when you use Echoing Strike, you see a bunch of misses, but they don't actually count because the skill is guaranteed to hit. However, in the next patch, it will no longer be guaranteed to hit, so those misses will be real misses. Finally, Echoing Strike will no longer prevent weapons from losing durability. This was also fixed, so we can no longer use ethereal weapons. With these three nerfs combined, the damage of Echoing Strike might only be about 15% to 20% of what it is in the current version. Furthermore, since we lose the guaranteed hit, we will also need to account for accuracy stats. The actual damage might be even lower, especially when fighting super bosses like the 6 bosses or the Ancients, where the impact will be much greater. That covers everything related to Echoing Strike. Below that are some more nerfs related to gas clouds, but there is some good news. Blizzard finally fixed enhanced damage, which allows magic skills like Chain and Abyss to have a larger area of effect. This means after the fix, Abyss could be a solid skill from early game through mid to late game, rather than just being useful for clearing, so that is definitely good news. Now that we've covered the nerfs to the Sunder charms, let's look at the changes to game mechanics, mainly involving terror zones, the sundered messengers, and the charms. We'll skip some of the minor changes and focus on the most impactful one, the messengers. Previously, messengers only had a chance to track us if we clicked on elites. Now, killing any monster in a terror zone gives them a chance to spawn and hunt us down. This is a great change because it significantly increases their spawn rate. According to Blizzard, their goal is for us to encounter 1 or 2 messengers every time we create a game in a terror zone. Next, there's a mechanic change. Let's talk about how current charms drop. Right now, there are 2 ways. All messengers have a very low base chance to drop a charm, and for tier 4 messengers and above, any charm they drop has a chance to be dyed into a Sunder charm. In the next version, Blizzard is moving this dying mechanic to all monsters within terror zones, and terror messengers will now have this chance starting from the 2nd tier. With this change, the drop rate for Sunder charms will definitely be much higher than in the current version, since all monsters can now drop them, unlike before where they only came from messengers. However, according to Blizzard, the drop rate will still be lower than it was before the Sunder charm version. But overall, Sunder charms will no longer be the luxury items they are now, but something everyone can consider using. All in all, it's a pretty good change. That covers everything regarding the messengers. As for other aspects, there aren't many changes. For example, things like story or ancestor adjustments. You can go and check the patch notes yourself for those. That's all for this video. I'm Leoli, and I'll see you in the next one.